Welcome to Cars in Korea. I am DK Kim, your source for latest Genesis, Hyundai, Kia, and KGM straight from Korea. As you saw from the thumbnail, the car I am test driving today is 2027 Kia Seltos Hybrid and 2027 Kia Niro that's got a product enhancement upgrade. And I have been driving Niro for the past week, over hundreds of kilometers. If you're looking for in-depth exterior, interior review of Niro and also this all-new Seltos, I have many of them on the channel already, so please feel free to check it out. Today's video, as you saw from the thumbnail, is about the comparison, differences, similarities between these two cars, if there are any. And I have to tell you that there are certain traits that I feel immediately right off the bat the moment I hopped in Seltos. I would like to say that many actually arise from the fact that these two cars are very different categories in terms of the physical appearances and where they belong. As we know, this Seltos, well, it's categorized as CUV, but this is the smallest SUV that we can get from Kia family, at least here in Korea, whereas Niro is actually more of a mix of a sedan and an SUV, and I really think that Niro actually sits right in between the two in terms of the appearances, because it is not as high from the ground up as an SUV, yet it's not as low as to that of a sedan. And the difference is not all that great. It's not like I am hopping over from a K car to a big full-size SUV, no. So that yields to all of the experiences that follow, such as different line of sight, of course Seltos having a higher one, and all this layout, the side mirrors, everything, I can feel the difference between the two. Once again, Niro being a little more closer to a sedan, while Seltos is an SUV. And a few more things. So again, I'm not trying to side with a car here. I'm just telling you the differences, things that I can point out immediately just because I can. Next up is that wide panoramic sunroof, something that I did not have with Niro. Whereas the all-new Seltos has this forever long, truly wide and gigantic panoramic sunroof. Just watch how long it takes for the sunroof to cover and uncover. And that doesn't end there. The wide panoramic sunroof is truly wide when you actually open it up like that. You may not think this is all that much because what you feel from the driver's seat or the first row seat doesn't really differ all that much, but trust me, it makes a huge difference for the passengers sitting in the second row seat. And of course, I am clocking and measuring the fuel economy right here. I will be driving the same way back and forth after I am done with the Seltos, so I can give you, I know it's not super accurate, I know not everything is not under control, but it should give us a good idea of what the fuel economy is like for each car. For your information, the powertrain that we get here in Korea for all new Seltos is different to that of the North American specs and models. The powertrain we have here in Korea for Seltos and Niro are identical. They both run on 1.6 NA naturally aspirated engine together with 6-speed DCT. Whereas the North American ones, I will give you the specifications on the screen right now for a precise comparison, but the powertrain isn't really that much of a focus on this video today because there are many other things for you to take away if you are debating over the Seltos versus Niro. That's the video you guys came here for. There are a lot of Seltos. It is one of the best-selling cars from Kia family here in Korea, which is also the case in regions and markets that Seltos is currently being sold. As for the ride, I do feel that it is different, but nothing too great, to be honest. If you blindfold somebody and have the person sit in the passenger seat or the second row seat, I don't think people will be able to tell and spot the immediate differences all that much, to be honest. For the NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness, not too different, no, not at all. I think I will need a professional measuring device here in order to pinpoint that, but again, nothing too significantly different. But as for the sensation I get inside the car, I do feel that I have a little more space inside Seltos overall Well, because of the second row seat and the trunk, I mean the obvious areas. However, when I actually spread my legs out, I can tell you for a certain that Niro provides more cabin room space for the driver. That is also the same for the passenger seat as well, because it's identical. However, Seltos also provides just ridiculous amount of space here compared to the first generation, because my daily car, if you didn't know, is the first generation Seltos. So that's how I know. This all new Seltos came out to be a greatly packaged car. I honestly couldn't find a thing for me to complain about, cry about. Maybe the absence of the hybrid trim was the only thing, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm driving one. It is the first time Kia gave us hybrid with Seltos and the cars in this segment. And come the Seltos hybrid, the car also offers V2L, vehicle to load, meaning you can use electricity inside the car. You can run any electronic devices that you can fit inside this car, literally. If you can fit a refrigerator, if you can fit a microwave, this car will run that for you. So that is what I am talking about. So imagine what you can do with this car having electricity accessible 24/7. So a little more about the stay mode. Give or take, you can have about 20 to 40 minutes of air conditioning. So I am really trying to feel and pinpoint the differences between the two, but honestly, they are similar in size. A great grocery getter and commuter car. Yeah, the panoramic sunroof is certainly the biggest difference that I can spot. But other than that, as for the drive and everything else, I just can't complain. It's very pleasant to drive around. The Seltos Hybrid currently has about 40 and 41 PSI all around the four tires. Oh, here comes the biggest difference you guys been waiting for. All new Seltos Hybrid actually comes with Smart Region 3.0. I mean, the name itself kind of explains it. It's not the iPedal. By the way, this Seltos also has the iPedal, so I can actually change the region brakes right here to different levels to my needs. And you can long press, hold the right button, and you'll see the auto lighting up. That way, I know the Smart Region 3.0 is enabled. What it does is just watch what I'm gonna do. So there is the vehicle in front of us coming to a slow stop, and just watch. Ladies and gentlemen, something that was only given to EVs are now inside this all-new Seltos Hybrid. This is something that Niro did not get, unfortunately. Would have been really nice if Niro had gotten it, but it is what it is. Just look at that, 21.1. Again, I'll drive the same route, see what we get with Niro. On an official papers and numbers and specs, Seltos Hybrid is set to do 19.8. But the car is giving us 21.1. Once again, best condition. I am driving quite slow, so it is where the hybrid shines the most, obviously. And most importantly, the interior layout is different. Seltos Hybrid has the latest column type shifter where the gear selectors are located right behind the steering wheel, and thanks to that, there is a great amount of space that interior designers can play with. I get this crazy amount of space inside here instead, so big thumbs up for that. And both of the cars get BVM, which stands for Blind Spot View Monitor, that will use the cameras attached on the sides of the car to show you the cameras accordingly, just like that. Extra safety, and there is never enough with safety. And just imagine how many accidents that tech alone would prevent around the globe. All this here is different, the interior layout. For more details, you could refer to my previous videos. I have very detailed reviews and videos of the car in that video. Well, I have to give it to Seltos because there are just so much more space with the Seltos than the Niro. But you could also get creative with Niros, because when you pop open this armrest, you can actually take out the slide located here to make the best usage of this storage here. If you didn't know, make a good use of that. All right, I'm gonna jump back into Niro and tell you more differences if there are any. Let's go. Oh, by the way, you can actually take this out. This is also a Kia genuine accessory, like that, so you have more storage out that way, partitioned. You rotate this around for more storage if that's what you need. I love what Kia's doing lately with these. So if you compare this part to Niro, Niro is the winner here. I'm back out, and as you can see, I am inside Niro. And I'm going to go on the same course with Seltos Hybrid. And I was super gentle with Seltos Hybrid, so I'll try to do the same. An interesting part is that engines actually started up at the same exact spot. When I actually got out of the parking lot structure, that's when the engine came on, and it's the same thing with Niro. Niro should do better in terms of fuel economy, but Seltos Hybrid went above and beyond, so I honestly don't know what the result is going to be like. And same thing, blind spot view monitor. The biggest difference is this. This shade is manual, and it only stretches out this far. Of course I can open it, but it is not the wide panoramic sunroof that we saw from Seltos Hybrid. There's not that much of visibility for the second row passengers, unfortunately, well, because there just isn't. The sunroof itself is automated, but this remaining part, you actually have to do it manually. When it is closed and when you open it up, this slides up automatically. I mean, it's physically pushed. For that reason, it doesn't open up entirely. That's that much more. I will press hold the pedal shifter and you'll see the region brake going to the maximum, and the vehicle slows itself down, and you can let go, press again for a complete stop. This is something that you could do with early generations of hybrids, but Niro does not get the smart region brake. It has the switch toggle right there. So there's no storage area because in the middle is the gear selector. This is the rotational type. Like here, you can go into the direction you want to go using that and press N for the parking. Ventilated heated steering wheel, auto hold, everything else. Parking cam, of course, for the surround view cam. Same thing for Seltos Hybrid. So the sensation I get inside the cabin that I told you about, it is still very valid. I do feel that Niro is closer to being a sedan than an SUV. It certainly has to do with the line of sight as well as how tall the car sits from the ground. I actually do personally prefer the steering wheel feedback and ride and handling that I get with Niro, because any and all cars that sit closer to the ground, you get more stability and control over the vehicle because it is simple physics. All right, 20 kilometers per liter already. Show them what you got. Show them what you got, Niro. 21.4. Okay. For a second, I was a little worried that Niro wouldn't beat the number. I think I don't need to worry no more. 22.2 I just saw now. 21.7. All right, well, I'll show you the final results when I get back to the parking lot. So as for the different interiors, I mean, yeah, Seltos is the winner, better be, because it's an SUV, more storage with the trunk. But as far as the driver's seat is concerned, I told you about this, right? Look at this. It's almost impossible for me to hit the door panel, unlike how it was with Seltos. It certainly has to do with the design here. It's carved in real good to provide the best space there is for driver. Again, goes the same for the passenger seat as well. This design I absolutely loved the moment I saw it first with the facelift Niro. Same thing, 12.3-inch dual monitors left and right. The latest infotainment system from Hyundai Motor Group, which is called CCNC, Connected Car Navigation Cockpit. And of course, both supports the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but I personally prefer the cabled connections. As for the hybrid techs, Niro also gets the stay mode that I explained inside the cell. I actually tested out the stay mode several times to see what the number I would get. It is safe to assume that you'll get anywhere between 20 to 40 minutes. Niro's giving me 25.3. Crazy you. Niro has always been and still is the best fuel economy Kia car from the entire family. So that fact alone could be the reasons for a purchase here. If you're looking for the best fuel economy performance vehicle, Niro is one for you, obviously. So look at the space we get on the second row and the trunk. But I'll be blunt and honest here. As far as the driver's seat and the front row, first row cabin is concerned, I just feel as comfortable as I did in Kia Seltos, except for the fact car provided me better line of sight because of the car being the SUV versus similar to sedan Niro. Same thing, let me show you again. Apply the pedal shifters on the right, just pull it towards yourself. A vehicle will use the regen brake to slow the car down, and when it is slow enough, the car will also put itself to a complete stop on its own. And you see, I didn't use my foot brake. So the more you know. It's been there for a very long time now. If you didn't know about this, make a good use of that. But I wouldn't really recommend you use it when you have passengers or family, especially those who suffer from motion sickness, like my wife Dima, because it has a little bit of that jerking motion, and you focusing on this pedal shifter, the regen brake, to slow the vehicle down, and also operating the foot brake, you might get a little confusing from time to time. So just make sure you know what you're doing. All right, so we arrived and Niro gave us 26.2. Let me pull out Seltos Hybrid and 23.4. 13.2 kilometers for 36 minutes, and I have 12.9 kilometers, so only 0.3 kilometers of difference, right? So I went the same route. That 300 meters is me going to the third floor versus me parking at the first floor. So 31 minutes versus 36, and outside temperature 22 degrees Celsius. It is the same, 22 degrees Celsius out, with 26.2. Niro won by about 10%. That title and throne of the best fuel economy car from Kia. Thumbs up. So what are your thoughts about it? Drop in the comment below and let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.